Okie dokie. It is Thursday night, and we are not going to do a spitball this week because we were supposed to talk about movies that should have TV series spun off them on the last video, and we sort of, I'm responsible. I just cut us off and went and had pizza.
You wanted pizza. It's understandable. Yeah. If I had pizza here right now, this show wouldn't be happening.
Yeah, pizza. There's something that should never have been a TV series.
No. Too fat.
It gave us bloody
Too
Rebel
fat
Wilson.
for a TV series. Is that where she came from? She came from Fat Pizza.
Yeah.
Fucking. I just thought it was just that was where Annalise Brackensek went to die. I didn't realize.
Anyway,
that's all right. And all the other Ralph models.
Well, because you are far more planned for this than I am, because I forgot we're going to be doing this. You can go first while I have a think.
Okay, like I had a couple. One that I thought, and I think you will definitely agree with me on this one, movie that would make a great TV series, and we've talked about it before on the show. It's a hilarious film starring Norm Macdonald and Artie Lang called Dirty Work, and the conceit of
that is right for episodic plucking.
Plucking, yeah, totally. Like it is, the movie is about these two idiots who start a revenge business, who get revenge for people who can't get it for themselves.
Yeah.
And each week, it just writes itself.
Yeah.
It would be absolutely amazing.
Would you get Norm back?
Yeah, now. It just be. I get Artie back. I think half his face is missing. Like the coke has kind of taken its toll.
You know how at the end of every episode of Scooby-Doo, like they pull off the mask and it's like, Mr. Arbuckle or Mr. Whatever. At the end of every Dirty Work, it'll be like, she's a whore.
You know what the worst thing is? It's a lack of respect. Well, that's the other thing. But after the other thing, it's definitely the lack of respect.
Oh, that's a great one. That is a great one. Great.
That's one of mine.
So I'm going to resort to just staring at my collection here and just thinking what would make a good. I mean, what do we got? No, that would not. Shame, it would definitely not make a good one. Soul Man, that would not make a good one.
No. Shame, did you say? Shame. Yeah. He fucks a different sister every week.
What about Tango and Cash?
Tango and Cash.
If they can do Lethal Weapon, they can do Tango and Cash.
But how is it going to be them? So each week they're framed for a different crime?
They're hung from a different rafter.
Yeah.
And there's a different guy with like electrodes and.
Because I mean, look, it makes sense. Like it would just be it would just be a regular kind of buddy cop TV series where
you can pick any of those buddy cop things and.
Yeah, they're each fighting to be the number one detective in the city.
Yep.
And they become partners.
Yeah. And they start their own PI investigation agency.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. They retire from the force and start their. It's like Hunter. The brass cupcake and Hunter, the only two, they work together because they're the only two people that can stand each other.
Oh, you don't mean Hunter, that Tasmanian TV show from the 80s?
Oh, fuck, I used to love that show.
So did I, man. It came on right after BTN.
Yeah, that's right. I used to watch it in school.
Yes.
I used to watch BTN and then Hunter.
And Hunter was all made in Hobart.
I had no idea. I didn't even know. I thought it was English because I thought that guy was English.
I think he's still alive. He lives in Hobart. I've
been to Hobart 3 times, and I spent fucking days looking at fucking Mona and stupid horseshit where I could have been hunting down Hunter.
Hunter locations.
It's disgusting.
With your bike with a basket and a cat on the front, and you look like Inspector Gadget.
I totally would have done it. And I reckon he would have been famous enough that if I would have asked anyone, oh yeah, Hunter, he lives just over 45. I'd love to chat about Hunter.
He's Hobart's #1 resident, mate.
Fucking hell.
And
he's a member of all 3 families.
I really hope that I'm able, dude. I hope that I'm going to be able to find some footage to just put over the top of this video, Hunter. Oh my god, that was great. That needs. Oh, They kind of revived it a little bit. There's a Melbourne comedian called Robert Lloyd, and he made a show with the guy that made Cat Sick Blues, the guy that was the main star in Cat Sick Blues. No,
Matthew Vaughn.
Matthew Vaughn wrote the show. Robert Lloyd starred in it, and it was called Poppycock Bertram. Very similar.
Yeah.
Very similar to Hunter. Yeah.
Yeah, right. I remember when he was doing that actually. Yeah.
Or Bertram Poppycock, it was called.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember when he was promoting it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so your mate wrote it and my mate starred in it.
Yeah, perfect.
Yes. All right. What else we got?
I've got another one.
What a
I've got another one
was.
that I think would make a great. It would be it'd have to be from a different perspective than the film.
Yep.
But do you remember Vamp?
Yes.
About the guys who go to the strip club and it's like basically From Dusk Till Dawn, but they're all vampires.
Yes.
Like, what if the TV show was the vampire? It was like the vampire strippers. Like that's from their perspective.
Why not?
And it's and it's just like a kind of like the L Word or something like that. With these vampire strippers, like it's it's like a serious Melrose Placey type drama, but they just happen to be
more like Showgirls.
More like Showgirls, yeah. And Jodie Turner-Smith from Jet, who unfortunately has just ruined herself by having Pacey from Dawson's Creek's kid. But prior to that, she would have been perfect as the Grace Jones lead in the show.
Yep.
That would have been a fantastic one. How about Hard Times, aka Street Fighter?
Oh, Charles Bronson.
Charles Bronson, and the TV series basically he's just a man who wanders from town to town using his fists to solve problems.
Oh, you may as well. What was the what's the Sylvester Stallone one from Canon with the arm wrestles?
Oh, Over the Top.
Yeah, make that in crossover. We need, and then we can like get Thumb Wars in on it and have like a Thumb Wars segment.
Thumb Wars in it. Yeah, I just think it should be all the TV show should just be all different Charles Bronson characters, like all hanging out, like Mr. Majestic and the Mechanic and Street Fighter, and they're all just it's Reservoir Dogs, but with all those different versions of Charles Bronson.
You could do like the Death Wish series, and he eventually runs out of rapists and moves on to.
He's killed them all.
There's
got to be some street scum left. There's
financial. He moves on to Wall Street.
You've killed them all.
He moves on to Wall Street criminals
this street scum littered on the streets.
And then you cross over with the Brave. Cross it over with the Brave one, and you have like Jodie Foster's character, and they're like it turns into Enemy State, where they're fucking. No, what was the one with Ed Harris and Jude Law, where they're like the two snipers against each other? Enemy at the Gates.
Enemy at the Gates.
Yeah. So like you have this. No, that's a bad idea.
Yeah, there's two vigilantes who have to get revenge on each other because that's all that's left. They've gotten revenge on everybody else, and the world it's like a Lobo comic. Like the rest of everyone else in the world is dead.
They're in their perfect world that they imagined from the get-go. They've rid the street of crime, and all that's left is each other. And that turns into The Odd Couple.
Do you remember that there was that great, and I haven't been able to find it since, but there was that great YouTube. I think it was a YouTube short. It was like a short film that somebody made about anytime. The conceit of it was anytime a man ejaculates, another man dies. So basically, they outlaw pornography, internet pornography. They've shut down Pornhub. They've shut down UJizz, and it's like I think it's French. Like the whole thing. It's a French reporter going. Banned UJizz. UJizz. Like he's crying, and by the end of the film, there's literally only two men left on the planet.
Mate, that's the ultimate dystopian future. And
they basically ended up just desperately trying to jerk off to become the last man alive. It's an amazing short.
There can be only one.
There can be.
It's like a cross between Highlander and Nothing.
Yeah.
No wonder it's all white.
It's This Ain't Highlander, the XXX parody.
Mate. Arguably the most ridiculous conversation we've had. What else have we got?
What about I can't I don't think I mentioned him in last week's episode, so I'll have to mention him in this. And I didn't mention him in this week's episode either. But Jim Wynorski took a swing at this film franchise, because Jim Wynorski is the king of the sequels. But Big Bad Mama would make a great TV series. Just a woman and her two daughters who don't take no shit from no man, traveling around the Depression era countryside, taking what they need, and not afraid to use a Tommy gun to get what they need.
If Martin Lawrence isn't available, I'm sure Tyler Perry is.
Yeah, that's right. Little role reversal there.
Yeah, well, why not?
Imagine if they did Big Bad Mama and crossed it with Big Bad Mama's house. That would be amazing. Martin Lawrence in drag, riding around with his two sons who are also in drag as his daughters, and they would have to be played by like Marlon Wayans and one of the other Waynes.
You could even cross that in, splice it with Surf Nazis Must Die, because there's like a Big Bad Mama in that film as well.
Do you remember the she's not a Big Bad Mama, I suppose, but there's in Orgasmo. There's the
You've really got a one-track mind tonight.
The really fat porn star. He's like, "You don't make me come, I'm gonna kill you." That's like a one line in the film.
Mate, what have you done? What have you done to this reputation?
I've restricted this video, man. Facebook are going to pull it because because I talk about things that goes against their community standards and guidelines. But don't worry, I got an alert. I got an alert from Facebook this week telling me that they hadn't suspended my account, but it was a warning because something I posted in 2012 goes against the community standards and guidelines. And I was upset that I had been on Facebook all the way back, like it's 2012. And I was like, then I thought, no, hang on, I've been on Facebook since like 2007 and I should shoot myself in the face.
And I've only got 50 likes.
50 friends.
Fake Shemp, I think we've had two things banned from YouTube. One was we were going to do a video series called Video Fap, which was a look at the what was it? It was a look at the sex comedies of the 80s, as presented by our Kentucky friend Billy Crank, but he went under the alias of Clint Flick. So when Clint Flick, the font is written a certain way, it looks like cunt fuck. And Nathan Armstrong, good friend of both of ours and Monster Pictures, you know where this is going. He did an animated intro to it, which was immediately banned. He's also animated a new intro for a video series we're trying to get off the ground as well, with which he features in along with Simon Harcourt, and I wonder if that's going to get banned as well. So
he's a very, very talented animator, Nathan.
Yes,
very talented.
Yes,
and it disgusts me that YouTube and Facebook have an issue with him.
That animation that he submitted to Trashorama and ultimately won the festival with, I remember talking to him, months ahead, and he was umming and ahhing about whether he should submit it to Trashorama, and I said, "Fucking do it! Like, it is an absolutely fantastic piece of animation," and he went and won. Crazy bastard.
He went and won. I remember showing that short to the year later. I showed it to a certain person who was that year the director of Monster Fest, and it did not go down well with her at all. She was quite upset by it.
I don't remember the title of it, but I'll put it on the screen for all of you. I do think it is on YouTube. If not, it might be on Vimeo or somewhere like that.
Definitely worth watching. Is excellent.
I might even put I think he's got a website or like a channel or something. I'll put that on the screen too. Anyway, this has really been a stupid exercise.
I thoroughly enjoyed it.
I know.
What about a Fletch TV series?
Wasn't that already proposed?
It should have been. I think that maybe it's coming up.
Yeah, I think it is.
Maybe it's being made.
That that long rumored film that Kevin Smith was going to do fell through, and I think now somebody's picked it up as an event series, which I think is going for 5 or 6 episodes.
The thing that's remarkable is if you read the novels that Fletch is based on,
Yeah,
it is much darker and much more
Yeah.
offensive than the
Part
movies
two?
ever were.
Part two.
Than even
Yeah.
part two.
Part
Like,
two
it
feels
is
like Part two feels like Who's Harry Crumb?
Yeah. Especially in comparison to the novels. Like in the books, you know, in the first movie, how he's like living as a bum on the beach trying to catch this
Yeah.
drug dealer. Well, in the book, he's doing that, but he's fucking 16-year-old homeless girls, and like he's doing heroin. Like
Yeah.
he's really getting into the part.
You can you banish me from the socials for saying this, but I've never been a huge fan of Fletch, like of the movies, I should say. Boom, he's gone.
That's it. I quit. How is that possible? The movies are fucking excellent.
I enjoy them, but I never really understood why the first one, particularly, why people just love it so much and it's held in such high regard. As a kid, I liked part two more because it was obviously fun and costumes and disguises and stuff like that, and it was much more frivolous. But the first one, I watched it again about a year ago, and it's good, but
It's got some great bits in it. Like I
It
love
does.
when he tells Tim Thomason off. Tim Matheson.
Yeah,
Don't talk to me
Matheson.
like that, you son of a bitch. I don't work for you yet. It's one of the greatest movie lines in history. It's like something that you've always wanted to say to everyone who gives you shit. And then like, excuse me, can I borrow a towel? My car just hit a water buffalo. It's a great line. Like,
Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Like I appreciate it, but I don't love it like other people do.
There's a cameo from Norm from Cheers is in it. I really liked it. What's his name gives him a rectal exam? Emmett Walsh. If
when he starts
there's
singing,
nothing else, yeah.
That's right.
If there's nothing else that you love about that film, it's just watching Emmett Walsh stick his fingers up Chevy Chase's backside.
That's classic Chevy Chase too. That scene is like it's his style of improv. You can tell that wasn't entirely scripted. That they just said like, "This is what's going to happen." How would you react?
Yeah, all Emmett Walsh's job was to keep a straight face. That's
Wouldn't
his
you
one
love
job.
to see the outtakes on that?
Yeah.
Do you reckon Walsh would have cracked up, or do you think he would have? Because he strikes me as a real professional kind of actor. Do you reckon
I
he
reckon he would have.
Yeah.
I reckon there would have been a couple of scenes that would have been, not to change the subject because I do love Fletch, but you know what I think would make an excellent TV series? I pulled it up. I pulled this one up.
Oh,
Hell Comes to Frogtown.
Yeah.
Like it's a riff on Cafe Flesh, this film, but basically Rowdy Roddy Piper is like the last fertile man on Earth, and so he kind of gets captured by what's her name, Sandow Bergman, and the military woman that goes along with her, Cease Farrell from Silk, and they basically stick. They're both, I think, release. Cease Farrell, I think, is they're both. I think they're barren as well, but they basically put a chastity belt on him so he can't bang anyone. But they're going to take him back to this lab to harvest his sperm so they can repopulate the Earth, because and of course there's this subplot where these frogmen have taken over the planet and all this.
It is
stuff,
a simply fantastic movie. Like
if
people have never seen that, and wasn't there a sequel as well?
There's 2 sequels.
Yeah,
there's 2 sequels that are. Well, definitely one. It's done by the guy who does like a lot of rollerblade movies.
You keep talking
Scott
while I look
somebody
that
or
up.
another. But basically, the series could be is him moving from town to town like Kane from Kung Fu, impregnating a new woman each episode. What a great show. I don't know anyone out there who wouldn't want to watch that show. I've never met that person.
Yeah, there were, because there was Return to Frogtown, which was the obvious one, and then there was Toad Warrior.
That's right, yeah.
Which was later re-released as Max Hell Frog Warrior.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that one.
There was a short period of time where we were going to do the release of Hell Comes to Frogtown when after the Arrow release had gone out of print.
Yep.
And Vinegar Syndrome had yet to do theirs. And I had lined up an interview and a commentary with R.J. Kaiser, who was the co-director, along with Donald G. Jackson, who had never spoken about the film to anyone. And I was going to try and include SD versions of the two sequels, but they've been Tanya York was the producer of both of them, and her company York Film or York Entertainment, they went bust, and a bank now owns them, but she couldn't tell me which bank it was that owned the rights to these films.
Here's a little bit of sticking with this. Here's a little bit of let's say call it movie magic for the people watching. So right now, here is the poster for Hell Comes to Frogtown, which is a cool poster. I think we can agree. Now, here is the poster for Max Hell Frog Warrior. Have a look at that abomination. That's fucking awful. Absolutely. It looks like a Tommy Wiseau kind of production.
How good would that be? Tommy Wiseau directing Hell Comes to Frogtown, Hell Comes to Frogtown movie. I'd pay good money to see that.
That's a freaking awful poster, man.
Oh, hi. Commander Tot.
I cannot. Oh, man. All right. And with that, we are done. All right. See ya.
Yeah, I thought that was it. I was like, that's a good ending. Just ended on that.